Hey everyone, it's Aisa for Us Naturals. Today's video is about kefir, a fermented wonder drink that could be one of the healthiest things you could drink. The name has Turkish roots and is pronounced kefir in the US, so please bear with me in the video as I go back and forth with both pronunciations. Back to business. This fermented milk drink is said to work wonders for the human body because of its enormous probiotic load. Probiotics are essential for optimal digestive function. They're what we call good bacteria that aid in keeping your body clean and giving you good flora. Many diseases start in the colon and digestive tract, so it's a good idea to have as much good bacteria as possible. Now, these tiny little grains are a powerhouse probiotic maker. They are actually alive. They eat sugar or the lactose in milk. That's how they're able to produce the kefir. Now, they do sell kefir in stores, but did you know you could make it at home? You just add these tiny little grains to milk and let them work their magic. When you look closer, they look like cauliflower, but they're actually tiny polysaccharide sacs of hundreds of strains of good bacteria and yeast. The kefir they produce tastes like plain yogurt, but the difference is that kefir is much better for you than yogurt. Yogurt's great, but the good bacteria in yogurt is transient and leaves the system after a while. The good bacteria in kefir, however, will colonize in the colon and digestive tract, giving you more consistent overall digestive health. You can use kefir to make many things once you make it. I'm going to show you how I make my delicious fruity kefir smoothies and this yogurty type snack that tastes and looks just like yogurt, only better.
Alright, first we're going to be making the kefir. I usually make it directly into my blender where I blend it with fruits for a smoothie. But before I do that this time, I'm going to do it in this bowl so that you guys will be able to get a clearer understanding of what it is that I'm talking about. Now here I have my kefir, whatever it is that you'd like to call it. You can see that it's begun to separate. It can separate greatly. Actually, the next batch, I'll let it separate all the way. But that is the whey separating from the curd. And it's best to always keep this in a glass jar. Now this is very, very thick, if you can see that. And if not, you're going to see it in a second. I also have a wooden spoon and unbleached cheesecloth that I got from Whole Foods. So I've cut off a portion of that, and I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to put it over my bowl right here. And I'm going to pour in my kefir. Look how thick and rich that is from the skim milk that we started out with. Let me go a little bit slower, make sure to get it all inside of the cheesecloth. And I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to lift this. And you can see my kefir, is draining out of the bottom directly into my bowl. I'm going to give it a little squeeze, help it go a little bit faster. So the key to this is just to make sure that your cheesecloth is actually large enough to cover all of the kefir and the grains that you're going to be pouring in it, or it'll just be falling out of the sides and it will not be cute. So just trying to get as much of the kefir out. And here is my pouch with my kefir grains, And here is my kefir. It's nice and thick and creamy. Now isn't that awesome? Now this is the alternative to using a metal or plastic strainer like this one. A lot of people have problems with the use of metal, like I've said, so I'm trying to do it for the sticklers right now. So this is what the kefir or kefir looks like, and I'm gonna go on ahead and pour that, and there it is, nice and rich and thick in the blender, and it's more of the consistency of, say, a liquefied sort of a yogurt. And I just go on ahead and pop in some fruit. So make it pretty basic. I'll do a banana. Of course, you can freeze your fruit ahead of time. I just happen to be at the store, so my fruit is not frozen, it's fresh. Just throw in a couple of chunks of that. I have some organic strawberries right here as well. Toss in a couple of those. And of course, my Truvia, I am still using it. It is the store brand, or an actual national brand for stevia, which is a natural calorie-free sweetener. So stay away from the chemicals. This is all natural and it doesn't have any calories. Here you go. Finished product. Nice, thick, creamy, frothy, and effervescent. It does get a little bit of a carbonation the longer that you let it ferment, and also it has to do with how tight you keep the cap on it. If you keep it loose, it won't get effervescent and bubbly, and if you do want it to have the effervescent little sense to it, then you keep it in an airtight glass container and it will do that. All nice and ready for drinking. And since kefir is actually a little acidic, if you are watching your teeth and the acid, I still have my glass straw. So I go on ahead and put that in there, pop a strawberry on the side for a little bit of design, and there we have it. Isn't that beautiful? All right, now I'm gonna show you guys how to make yogurt. Well, I wanted you guys to see how thick and creamy it is already. But with kefir, time is our friend. Time will allow it to ferment further, and it will get tangier depending on how tight you cap it. You can cover it with the cheesecloth if you don't want it to get more tangy and effervescent. But if you do, and if you're in for that, then you just pop the top on it. It also gains more nutrients and vitamins the longer that you let it sit. So I'm gonna pop this into the refrigerator for 24 hours. In the meantime, we still have to take care of our kefir so that it can continue to grow and flourish. So here are the grains. And I'll put them back into the jar. Now I haven't washed them, so they're still nice and coated in the kefir. They can be a tad hard to get off of this cheesecloth, and by a tad I mean, wow, it's hard. I don't think I'll be using this method often, but I did want to show you guys this particular method, just in case it was something that you wanted to do. So you go on ahead. I've cleaned the jar just so you could be able to see through it, but just all the things that are going on with the chlorine and water, I don't want to wash my grains too often. So just a clean jar, and then I use fat-free or skim milk, organic, and it works just fine. You see how nice and creamy it comes out, even though, you know, skim milk starts off looking pretty thin. Just make sure it's enough milk to cover all your kefir grains. Put the top on, close it up, set it aside, and you're on your way to making more kefir or yogurt. And we're back. And look how nice and thick and rich that is. And as I said before, the B vitamins increase the longer that it is allowed to ferment. Now since this tastes just like plain yogurt, just a little tangier, might want to jazz it up. The Greeks use just a little bit of honey, which is very tasty, but I'm going to use a fruit spread. Here I have black cherry and I have strawberry banana. I'm going to use the black cherry just for some nice color variety. This is all fruit, it's not a jelly. And I'm going to just go on ahead and plop that in there, just the way you would with yogurt. All right, and you see it right there. This is a thickened kefir with a fruit spread mixed in. You see the nice fruit chunks? It looks just like the conventional store-bought yogurt, but just way more healthy. So you can add it like that, or you could even go on in and add some fresh fruit. Here I'm adding a couple of blueberries, and you can blend that in. However it is you want to do it, whatever it is, you just blend it to taste, and it's as simple as that. All right, so here we have it. 2 wonderfully smooth, refreshing, easy to make, and healthy meals or meal replacements that you can make yourself at home anytime.